Discover the ideas that will shape tomorrow's world.
All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about how AI is completely shaking up one of the oldest industries on the planet, construction. It's about building the future, literally.
So let me ask you this. Why does it feel like every big construction project is always over budget and way behind schedule? You've seen the headlines, right? Endless delays, costs just spiraling out of control. And look, this isn't just a case of bad luck. It's a sign of a really deep-rooted problem in how we build things.
And at the heart of it all is what you might call construction's concrete problem. I mean, think about it. It's an industry that, for centuries, has relied on manual labor. And because of that, it's constantly fighting against delays, budget blowouts, and of course, really serious safety issues. All of this just makes it the perfect place for a massive tech-fueled shakeup.
And what's kind of wild is the contrast here. You look at industries like finance or manufacturing, they've been all in on AI for years. But construction, it's been lagging way behind. And that slow adoption of new tech, it directly translates to slower productivity. Which means, you guessed it, those same old problems, they just keep happening.
Okay, so if technology is the solution, what does it actually do? Let's take a look at the blueprint for AI in construction and see how these smart systems are really designed to change the game. So, first things first, let's be clear about what we mean by AI in this context. It's not just about walking, talking robots on a job site. We're talking about creating systems that can think, well, kind of like a human. They can learn, they can reason, they can solve problems. The big difference is they can chew through enormous amounts of data at speeds we can't even imagine.
And the main tool in the toolbox right now? It's machine learning. I mean, it's not even close. It's the dominant form of AI being researched. And the big deal with machine learning is how it works. See, older AI systems were, well, they were dumb. You had to program every single rule. If this happens, do that. But machine learning is different. It's like an apprentice that learns on the job. It studies thousands of old projects, finds patterns we'd never see, and uses that knowledge to predict what's going to happen next.
But what's the point of all this? You know, it's not just technology for the sake of having cool new gadgets. The goals are super practical. It really boils down to three things: giving project managers the data they need to make smarter choices, predicting problems, like those budget overruns, before they happen, and just making the whole process, from start to finish, run a whole lot smoother. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the really interesting part, the how. How did we get from AI being this abstract idea to something that's actually changing how things get built?
I mean, just look at this chart. This tells you everything you need to know. Interest in AI for construction isn't just growing, it's absolutely exploding. Check out what happens after 2020. The amount of research practically doubles overnight. It really seems like the pandemic was a wake-up call, forcing the industry to hit the accelerator on going digital.
And these two charts together, they tell a really cool story about how things have evolved. So on the left, you can see the tools themselves are getting way more sophisticated. Machine learning is just leaving the old school systems in the dust. Then, on the right, you see that our goals are getting bigger too. We're moving beyond just helping people make decisions. Now we're talking about predicting the future and even automating some really complex jobs.
So, where is all this AI muscle being flexed? Well, it turns out it's almost all happening right at the beginning of a project. And the logic is, it's simple but brilliant. If you use AI during planning and monitoring, you can catch tiny little problems before they snowball into massive, expensive disasters. It's all about getting things right from day one to set the entire project up for success.
So, let's break that down. What does that actually look like? Well, during planning, an AI can sift through decades of project data to give you cost and schedule estimates that are way more accurate than a human could ever produce. And then, once building starts, it acts like a super vigilant site supervisor. It can use cameras to spot safety risks in real time, or just handle the boring stuff, like writing up progress reports, so the human managers can focus on the big picture.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? A total game changer. So you're probably thinking, why isn't every single construction site already using this stuff? Well, as you can imagine, it's not quite that simple. There are some pretty big hurdles to clear first.
And what's really interesting is how those hurdles have changed over time. 10 years ago, the biggest barrier was just people, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. But today, the problems are way more technical. The debate isn't about whether we should use AI anymore. It's about how on earth we're going to get and manage all the high-quality data that AI needs to actually work.
Let's break down the four big ones today. You've got your usual suspects: cultural pushback and the high upfront cost. That's pretty standard for any new tech.
But the two really tough nuts to crack are the skills gap. We just don't have enough people trained to use these advanced tools, and the data itself. Construction data is, well, it's a mess. It's scattered, it's inconsistent, and AI is a bit of a picky eater. It needs clean, organized data to do its job right.
But here's the thing. Even with all those challenges, the push forward is just too strong to stop. On the flip side, you've got these huge drivers. The tech itself is getting cheaper and easier to use every day. We now have solid proof that it actually works. It cuts down on delays and saves money. Companies know they have to innovate or get left behind. And maybe biggest of all, there's this huge global push for sustainability, and that's an area where AI can be a total game changer.
So when you put all of that together, the challenges and the drivers, what does the construction site of the future actually look like? Let's take a peek at the incredible new world that AI is building for us.
And we're talking about stuff that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. Think digital twins, basically a perfect virtual copy of a real building that lives in a computer, updating in real time. It can predict when things will break before they actually do. We're going to see more robots handling the dirty, dangerous jobs. AI is going to be crucial for designing greener, more energy-efficient buildings. And, maybe the most important thing of all, it's going to make job sites safer by spotting hazards and predicting accidents before anyone gets hurt.
There's a quote from one of the papers we looked at that just sums it all up perfectly. The point here isn't just to make things a little bit better. The real goal is to completely change how we think about the construction industry, to take it from being known for danger and delays and turn it into an industry that's famous for being safe, efficient, and sustainable.
And that brings us to a final, bigger question. We know AI can help us build better buildings. We know it can make them smarter, faster, and safer. But can this revolution in how we build our world also help us build a better world, a more sustainable one? Now that's something to chew on.